Howdy, partner. Welcome to David's Kitchen. I'm David. I'm going to sip my coffee and talk to you about making some hobo stew when you're out on the road. Yeah. My biggest issue with hobo stew is you got to find some roadkill or something when making it. Now, if you reckon I'm talking a little slow, it's because I'm trying to sound more like an outdoorsy kind of guy. And I've lived out in my outdoors setup, my bug out bag and everything, but I prefer living inside with warm victuals. But sometimes you don't get that. Sometimes you got nothing but your whatever's canned food you got in your bug out bag and whatever roadkill. Yeah. So I have regular food here that's pretty much things I keep around the house. Organic sweet potatoes. These are great. They stay longer than regular potatoes. And they're not even a nightshade plant. They're root crop. And then these bags, I got this bag of potatoes for 99 cents. 5 pounds of potatoes for 99 cents. So between potatoes over there and sweet potatoes, I'm not spending more than $1. And then I picked up some organic beef at Costco. And I priced it out. It's about $1.25 a patty. I got 2/3 of a pound of beef there. That's organic beef. So we're talking about $2.50. So I'm up to $3.50 there. I have to get my my onion. Hey, Sarah. Oh, she's on the phone. Yeah, I reckon I'm gonna have to get some matches too to light my burner, because I plan on doing this outside, but inside. It's organic as in really good for you, and made with top quality ingredients. No pesticides or herbicides went into the making of that beef. It's red. There's something wrong with your camera. That's red beef. I don't have any mental illness, you freak. God, you were out to lunch. Wow, that's slander. I could shoot. I would just. Hey, take a look at this onion. The onion I have is about ready to go, so it's a perfect day to use some old fruit or onions, vegetables. So I'm going to cut off the bad part right there. And I always use a smell test. You can smell rotten onion, and I cut that right off. So if you go deep enough, you'll get rid of the rotten onion. And the smell test, you know, the French have made rotten onions kind of an art. They call it French onion soup. So if your onions go bad, you can still use these. But you can't use the really bad part. Now this onion is not really contaminated, so the interior is fine. You do the smell test. Yeah, smells good. It's a good Spanish organic onion, which I have here. Now that's an important ingredient. You can use dried onions if you're putting out a bug out bag. Dried onions are very common. You can even use onion powder. I even have some chives that I pick up and you know, put in my bug out bag. Let me show you. Okay, I got the skin off of this sucker. We get ready to do some shopping. But the interesting thing about this show is it's going to be a kind of an experience in cooking with. I got some canned food that's just absolutely incredible. Chunky sirloin burger in a soup base, in a stew base with vegetables. The San Francisco Soup Company, authentic San Francisco soup called Riviera. Isn't that great? Riviera. Guess what I paid for this? I do gardening. Yeah, I don't spend my time out there in the garden. I try to stay inside because of the jets and the chemtrails. Okay, time's up. Can you see the price there? 25 cents. I get these in bulk at a wholesale food company. Past due date? 2012. Got to eat it up. Eat as much of your bug out food as you can when you can. 25 cents a root. I got this, which is great in the soup, believe it or not. Unsalted Hunt's diced. I hope that doesn't bother you, the sound of that clanking Venetian blind. Hunt's organic diced, paid 50 cents, non-GMO, organic diced Hunt's tomato. Goes great in a stew. Sarah picked up these little bruschetta things. They're called dippin' bruschettas. It's something she didn't really eat this year, so I'm going to open this up. It's got 270 milligrams of salt, but it's basically red pepper, artichoke, fresh garlic, tomato, and they got delicate dash of herbs. All right, this is starting to bum me out. There we go. Much brighter. Back up my garlic. Oh, my sister left me some stuff here too. Gotta eat this stuff up. My sister comes out and visits once in a while, and she likes to leave food ingredients. Hello. Balsamic 4-onion spread. I picked up some of that from her. Have you ever seen anything like that? It's a 4-onion spread that could go in there. Sun-dried tomato olive spread. She gets really high-end stuff, and she just leaves it here. She just cooks with it and leaves it here. So, yeah, I might use some of that just for flavoring. And, of course, garlic. I've got some organic garlic from the capital, Gilroy, California. Organic chopped garlic. Yummy. All right, we're almost set to get started here. I am going to need some sort of a lighter, though. Yeah. Let's see if I can do that up here. No, that won't work. Well, I think it's tall enough. When I go on my bug out experience, I bring an item I've had ever since the 1970s. Now, I've used this to heat my van when I was living down by the beach in Venice, California. Hey, that's spam, buddy. I lived on the beach down at this, yeah, it was a kind of an amazing experience. And you get one of these canisters, and what happens is you take these canisters and you pull the plastic off. I'm not going to cook with the electric appliance today. I'm just going to cook with this. You put this top on it, and it screws down. And it has a little pin in there and a spring that opens up the gas. And the threading pretty much locks in, and you've got a tight fit. This is the most useful item you could take with you on a camping trip. It's pretty much a stove combo, which is very, very cool to use on the road. So we're going to use that as our base, and then I've got I bring this in my bug out bag. Believe it or not, if I have like a large group of people, everything in here is stackable. Now we're going to cook our stew in this nice little thing right here, which makes a sizable amount of food. Right here is a gold filtered coffee maker, and I absolutely essentially need one of these Melita gold filtered coffee makers when I travel because I love fresh coffee. And with this setup, I can make coffee on the road. All right, I also carry smaller breakaway dishes if I have to move vegetables. So I got these really nice porcelain, or actually enamel dishes. They're dated. They're like 1960s maybe, but they're dishwasher safe, and they're really all metal, and they're very well well made, and they're durable. And what's best, you can actually cook in them if you have to. But what I'm going to be doing my cooking tonight in is this nice big beautiful stainless steel pot, which I think is worth carrying when you're taking a road trip, because it's definitely a little bit heavier than aluminum, but a lot safer. You like that? All right, so we're going to be cooking in that today. This little unit has a base on it, so see that? it sets right in on the base, stabilizing it. Otherwise, it'd be flopping all over the place. So we'll be cooking with that pretty much right there. But first, I'm going to prep everything in the container. So, yeah, right on. I'm going to have to go get some matches to start that little thing. Isn't that cool? But you see how I stacked it all in there? Very easy to travel in a bug out bag. Pretty much you can throw things in around it too, like dried beans and things, you know, to use space. Are you reporting what to who? For what reason, sir? I never made a threat to anybody. I'm not like Peter Fonda. He said a terrible thing. He talked about Barron the other day. I thought that was really a rude thing to say. You know, his father was kind of rude, Henry Fonda. He maybe inherited his dad's personality a little bit. Yeah, it's not uncommon to hear a Fonda, you know, blurt out a statement. Any news on him? Has he been arrested for threatening the president's son? He was making an offhanded statement that Trump wasn't doing enough for these poor children. But tonight I'll be talking about a comprehensive solution to the whole problem. So you will be impressed with my solutions and how to fix this problem. But that's why I'm the guy who came up with the 1,000-mile fence idea, not Trump. And that's why I'm the guy who probably would have had it built by now. All right. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for loving me. Breitbart, Peter Fonda, R.I.P. Yeah. From his mother put in cage with pedophiles. Yeah, we got the story, but has he been contacted by the Secret Service? That's... Okay, Rancid Shrimp Chef said, recommend not doing this outdoors, so we're going to have to take the whole thing outside. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll just get it set up and I'll go outside on the deck and do it there. All right. Yeah, whatever you feel is best. All right, well, you got the basic setup there. In fact, why don't I just go ahead and assume that you could make it out there with this setup, and that way I don't have to burn any heat unnecessarily, and I'll just pretend like I was cooking on that. Now I'll just cook it on the stove instead. Okay. First thing you want to do is get a knife. I personally want to get that pan going, so I'm going to turn it on a medium flame. Level 3 on a small burner, about the equivalent in the size to the burner that I just showed you. All right, crisis averted. We're in good shape. You see how quick I am to adapt to any situation? That shows my flexibility. I'm not like Trump. I don't immediately freak out and then immediately say, oh yeah, all the children are going to have to stay with the families. And what about the kids that are displaced right now, 6,000 of them? Oh, well, we're not sure what to do with those kids. 6,000 kids? Hello? Give me a break. Obama, you know, what he did was he just let them all into the population and then they went to Disneyland. And remember that big outbreak of, I think it was measles in Disneyland? Yeah, that was Obama releasing 54,000 kids into our population. Hey, you know what I like to do when I'm out on the North 40? I carry a little salt pork with me, and I'm going to take a little slab of this frozen bacon here and throw it in the base of my pan. Yeah. And that'll get me started. Put the fat side down so you don't, so it doesn't stick, if you know what I mean. Is that even clean, this pan? Hang on. Let me rinse a little water, some filtered water through there. I've been battling with my water company. You're not going to believe this. I contacted them today, actually the front office, and I asked about turns out the system failed a couple days ago, about 5 days ago, and they flushed pure chlorine into the line. You want me to do the Hobo voice character? Okay, thank you. They flushed pure chlorine into my water system. And you remember when I said I was losing my hair from the water? I was right. She said, oh, well, it got to very unsafe levels, but it still met requirements within the Water Quality Safety Bureau of natural drinking water. It's like it was like swimming pool water in my faucets. And now they're wondering where the air leak's coming from. And I said, your air leak's coming from your water pump. Pumps aren't set, the seals aren't set to take chlorine levels at that level. I mean, hello? So I'm having an ongoing little thing going on with a group of people. Hey, let me disconnect that stove while that's heating up. Yeah, I'll start cutting up my vegetables. Anyway, this little thing has been a lifesaver out on the road if you have to, pull into a park area and get into a bench and cook for the family. You can't do that with an electric hot plate. And when you close it down, just unscrew it. And that little plug sets, you can hear it set, the propane goes right. There's enough pressure in there to close that valve. You never have to worry about it. Now I smell a little bit of propane just pulling that out. Just a slight amount. But you're right, I should not even bother cooking outdoors. But thank you. I was just showing how you could take it and use it as a bug out bag, but I would do it under strict, safe conditions. At a rest area. All right. Apparently you didn't live in your van for 2 years down by the beach in Venice. Well, yeah, and always check the signs and be sure to make sure you fillet the local officers to make sure they're content with your. I mean, what the hell? Why are you so worried about living in this police state? You can't even have an open flame in some places. Yeah. Okay, propane can make your food taste exotic. You're right. I've never had toxic food from a propane-made food out in the outdoors. Propane's fairly clean. It only produces CO2, so I'm not sure where you're getting your information. Hank Hill, he's an expert on propane. Bobby! Well, I should just cook this meal like in an oil drum. Yeah, well, I got a stainless steel kettle. I mean, you'd think with a little bacon in there, you'd think that alone gives me some points right there. I got the salt pork happening, and I'm going to put this back in the freezer. No point in letting it thaw. Okay, I got to peel a couple of these guys. These are sweet potatoes. I'm going to throw about 3 sweet potatoes in there and quite a few new potatoes. Please, Dave, please. I will not watch you put your life in danger. Well, believe me, I don't. That's why I don't travel anywhere. Now, see that getting all puckery at the back end of that little thing? And you see this one right here? So it's getting all wrinkly. That's a sign you need to eat it. Eat it. Then you got to get to cook it. You eat it. Then you got to get to cook it. And then you got this right here. So I'm going to cull my sweet potatoes down to 3 and go over to my beautiful stainless steel kitchen set at David's Kitchen. It's a beautiful day in David's Kitchen. A beautiful day in David's Kitchen. All right, I hope you like the new mic too. It should be better quality audio for all of you. Paid $24.95. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna peel these little guys into a compost area. I basically sweep everything off the base and put it in compost. Now that bacon's sitting on the bottom of that pan, kind of sizzling right now, which is good. You want to get that pan nice and hot. Now, if you don't have any salt pork or bacon fat out there in the North 40, you can always use some form of oil. And I don't recommend axle grease. I don't recommend any type of motor oil whatsoever. And I don't recommend GMO oils because they're toxic and cause cancer in laboratory animals and in studies conducted past 3 months. Anyway, I recommend safflower oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, not in that order. Actually, yeah. Avoid corn oil because chances are it's going to have GMOs in it, which will take your gonads and fry them like crispy critters. No, not happening. Did you see that? I saw a fly come in here. Somebody must have used a door, and I trapped it in the window. So I closed the window, and I'm going to close the curtain now. Well, let's be clear. All right, a little better video anyway. It's less bright. Alrighty. Well then. All right. We're going to turn this around here. Set these suckers on the table. All right. You like it? I don't do canola oil. I don't do rapeseed. I don't believe in that stuff, man. Well, you want to take your end pieces off. Nice. Now that bacon fat is going to give a really nice taste to these sweet potatoes. I'm going to take my wooden spatula and give my bacon fat a little stir here. Nice. Oh, that's perfect. I'm going to cut my onion up. If you want to rinse it off again, you can. It's nice to have a little water on the outside of these things. It kind of helps with the steam cook. Okay, that's got a blemish. It has a blemish. Remove the blemish. Okay, give me your basic cut here, 1/2 inch. You can go fairly big on the cuts. Gonna be cooking pretty fast with the sweet potatoes. All right, we're gonna throw we're gonna slice these down to like bite size. You see that? About that size. Get rid of any blemishes. Okay, we're going to take the hamburger. I'll deal with the hamburger in just a second. Right now I'm just going to throw the vegetables in there. Nice. Hear that sizzle? You got the bacon at the bottom. Kind of distribute everything around evenly. And then pour about an 1/8 of a cup of water in there. You'll hear a sizzle going on, and it's going to be steam frying. So all that bacon juice is going up into your sweet potato. Yeah. Showed you how to cook. Now, I have something very personal to ask all of you. You've been watching television. You've been analyzing the news. Have any of you seen Melania in a live video meeting with the children in jails today? Anybody see a live video of her meeting the kids in the jails? No live video? We don't know. We saw still pictures of her allegedly going to the jails to see the kids. No, did you see a live video, not a still picture? I remember seeing a still picture, but her crappy jacket, we saw that. But have you seen any live video of her? No. Did she no. Yes, she was behind bulletproof glass. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at that video, topic 1. I'll look to see if I can find it. Meghan Markle is a robot? Could be. Look like Photoshop pics, really? So we have not seen it. Oh, geez, did you see that? Wow, did you see how fast my reaction time was? Yeah, that's super fast. No, it's just the cumin rolled out of the Cajun pushed the cumin out. And I got some Cajun perfect pinch, it's called, from McCormick. No MSG, but it's got salt in it. I'm gonna use a little sprinkle on top of my beef because I'm gonna throw my beef in on top of everything after I'm pre-cooking the vegetables right now. I'm gonna give them another stir. I'm gonna throw some Italian seasoning in the pan. So let's do some Italian seasoning and a little stir here. No more than about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Oh yeah, we're good. I'm gonna let that take that up to level 6 now on a medium-high flame. And I'm gonna take a little bit of this McCormick Cajun seasoning and kind of dust my my patties here. That's about enough salt for the venture. I'm going to be adding a few things with salt in the stew, so there's plenty of salt in other areas. Secondary ingredients will be pretty high. You can use cumin in this dish. It's considered the poor man's saffron. I love cumin, and they find that it's really good for your neurology. Yeah, they're finding some positive benefits to cumin and our brain. In dealing with Alzheimer's, they're finding some positive results from cumin. Please, don't ever do that in the show. You're a sick guy. You're a sick guy. You're going to get a mute for that. Yeah. Yeah, Obama's kept their families from each other. No, Obama let the families join them, and they were released into the public. Obama had a catch-release plan. That plan was not good, but this plan to have zero tolerance should have come with preparations. Now, you recall my idea was no refugees. But I also talked about how we needed to prepare by having way stations like Ellis Island in advance. Now, Trump just simply started imposing laws which have created backups in our airports and our immigration courts big time. So a lot of people are going to be in immigration court for about 5 years because of what Trump did. Trump is now implementing harsh laws, which are against 7 countries that are Muslim countries. A person could have a green card to come back in the U.S. but can't be allowed in. That's created another big problem. But this problem with the children is a front-forward problem that has to be addressed right away. No, we're not going to open the border. We can do this another way too. Trump can get all the parents' names from the kids and look them up, and get those parents to reunite and put them in the test centers, these group centers he's going to be creating. All of this should have been done in advance, before he started moving in this direction of the exclusionary laws. The idea that he has a zero tolerance has to come with some preparation. He didn't prepare at all. I know. Then kids are being taken from their parents in Mexico. I know. It's true. If you go to Mexico with your family, your kids could be stolen and abducted into the streets of Mexico. I'm sure that happens. Families go there going, "Oh, honey, let's look at Mexico City. It's such a great..." And they go out there and little Johnny's over there looking at something and he's gone for good. And the consulate doesn't do much. It's like, "Oh, well, thank you for reporting this. We'll put you on the list of 50,000 other people who, you know." All right, I'm going to get ready to throw these burgers right straight on top of the cooking vegetables, with the seasoning side down. We got a pretty good clip going here. We got steaming and frying going on at the same time. So the stew is the beginning process. We're trying to get the meat cooked at first by putting it at the base. Now we have another problem. We have to get red potatoes in here. And because red potatoes are a little bit more easy to cook, and you don't have to peel them, we're going to kind of dice those and put those on top of the potatoes. Like we're going to put it on top of everything. So I'm going to pull out 5 potatoes, rinse them off. You can leave the skins on new potatoes. You don't have to peel them. They add flavor to the hobo stew. Actually, let's pull 6 small potatoes out, because I mean, with that and the yams, we want everybody to have at least 1 potato in food. So we've got a total of 10 starch items in this meal. Hold on. I like that, yeah. That's a pretty good post. Thank you, Soviet spy. Great chat, yeah, we're really kicking butt here. You notice how all the haters have given up? You know, see how I outlast them all? Yeah, my style of broadcasting cannot even be compared to any other person out there, because I literally don't let anybody stop me. I beat them all, yeah. And I beat them at their own game. They think they're trolling me. You know, it's kind of amazing how I've been trying to break into the mainstream media for 9 years, and you see me giving up? Yeah, I'm not giving up. Okay, I'm going to cut these guys into quarters. Like that. And then into quarters again. So it's 8 pieces out of each potato. Real simple cut. No big deal. I mean, if you hate cooking, and a lot of you do dislike the dicing stage, after you've washed your potatoes, this is the easiest part, I think. Cut them evenly so they cook evenly. If one is bigger than the other, they may not cook too evenly. Like this one, I'm going to cut 3 times. All right, we're going to give everything in there a flip. The meat's going to flip right over. And then I'm going to pepper the other side and put some cumin on the other side. All right. So we're going to flip the meat over and put some cumin and some garlic down. I'm going to take a forkful of garlic, about 3 cloves or 2 cloves, 2 or 3 cloves. Throw it in there on top of the part of the beet that is not seasoned right now. And I'm seasoning that part right now with cumin. And you can put a little more Italian seasoning on there. I did not add any salt except for the Cajun seasoning, so I'm going to flip those burgers right over. I'm going to press down and see where my sweet potatoes are. It's a good base. They're still cooking. It's good. Now I'm going to make a section in my pot right there for my potatoes. I'm just going to put all the potatoes in one corner over here. Now I have the luxury of having I'm going to seal that up and put a little bit more water in there. Kind of a steam fry. I have the luxury of having some herb plants that I'm growing, and I'm growing rosemary. So rosemary is really good with potatoes if you're cooking potatoes, but right now it's not appropriate for the hobo stew. All right. If we were cooking just new potatoes, red bliss potatoes, that rosemary is excellent. But I'm going with kind of a rich oaky taste, not some sort of a weird kind of funny kind of New York City flavor. I mean, this is not nouveau cuisine. This is called hobo stew cooking. All right? Now we got some ingredients here we have from leftovers. We got this bruschetta packet. I'm going to throw that in too. I'm going to peel the top off and see what I got. Apparently these are like dippable bruschettas that Sarah had. We picked up for 10 cents a piece. And I'm going to put that in on top of everything. But first I'm going to get everything cooking a little bit more. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how, you know, flavoring is a kind of a challenge when you're on the road. You don't have a lot of flavoring devices. This kind of stuff is actually really good. It can add spice to your meal. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there right now. I'm going to push the meat around and start breaking it up. And I'm going to kind of push the potatoes now and displace the whole thing, putting the potatoes at the base. Kind of pushing the meat off to one side. All right. Yeah, it smells okay. It definitely had to be eaten, I'll tell you that.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's right on the edge of being, inedible. It won't hurt it though. Okay, covering everything up, making a seal, and what you want to do is get some of your wet ingredients in there. And today we're going to have the peas and carrots out of the can, a Del Monte product, which is non-GMO. It's pretty cool that Del Monte creates non-GMO peas and carrots. Now there's salt in these cans, so if you're salt sensitive, you may want to rinse these cans. They have 1,000 milligrams of salt in this can. So that's the one thing you want to do when you're out in the big chaparral eating is rinse the cans water out, or either, if you have no water though, you got to drink this can water. So that's the difference. Oh, salt is great for flavor, but I'm a little salt sensitive, so I don't really like it. So I'm just going to use my fingers to drain this out. See that? It's a natural strainer, your fingers are. I would throw some regular filtered water in there, which you might have out there in the middle of nowhere, and then give it a little rinse. But if you actually drink that water, it's flavorsome. That's, it's a non-GMO product. Del Monte's doing a great job. I congratulate them. Congratulations, Del Monte. Non-GMO food. Isn't that great? Okay, throw those in on your hobo stew right now. Peas and carrots are essential. Nice. We're still doing great. I'm going to try a little sun-dried tomato olive spread. It's just for flavor, We'll throw that in there too. Yeah, a little olive spread. It won't hurt. The bruschetta is probably going to be eaten up too. That'll be enough of that. Then we're going to open 2 cans. Boy, time really flies when you're having fun in the kitchen, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
45 minutes just zooms by.
It's like, what happened?
Okay, give your stew a good stir right now. Kind of push it around. We're at level 6, so you're cooking pretty fast here. You want to turn it down to low now. And now's the time when you kind of pull all your ingredients together, and we're going to add a few toppers to this and let it sit. So that this dinner won't be done for another half an hour. But I'm showing you how to mix all the ingredients in there and just get it cooking on the stove. And believe me, everybody will get a nice portion of stew, about this much. That's pretty good. That's for a meal, It'll fill your stomach up and it'll last. So you'll be able to survive the outback. Some of you are out there looking for sex camps out in Tucson. You may need to kind of prepare. Canned goods are great because you don't have to rehydrate anything. Yeah, the hobo stew is a guarantee. Everybody likes it no matter what, No, I got plenty of room for this. I know what I'm doing, man. We'll top it off. You'll see it. It'll fill the whole thing. Anyways, I got these cans for roughly. We're talking at least $5 in expense. If you don't have the meat factor, and you get something like this ground sirloin stew in a can from San Francisco Soup, Riviera, that's got the meat in it, so it'll give you flavor, but it won't give you a lot of protein. I added a lot of protein to this meal. because I want it to be filling, you know. You'd never guess that tomatoes, diced tomatoes, are going in a stew, but they really make a stew taste great. They'd make a stew top, like pop. It really is good. So throw those in there. Then we're going to open up this can of 25-cent can of Riviera. I can't get over I bought it for that price. This was past due in 2012, so let's take a look and see what we got. We got the price tag, the taste of the price tag. That's got to be worth something. Yeah, we're fine. It's good. Yeah, aside from the the BPA they put on the inside of cans, it's going bad. You know, it's great. All right, let's top it right off. Kind of push it in there. We're keeping this at a low flame for a good 30 minutes, if not more. Yeah, expired in 2012. You can't really see it from your angle, but pretty good stuff. We have to eat this stuff. I'm not going to throw it away, so that's one of the reasons why I do the show, because if I didn't do it, nobody else would. If I didn't do it, nobody else would. Nobody's going to eat my cans of food that I got sitting around. You just sit here. Sarah's not going to cook these cans of food. She just throw them away.
Probably.
Yeah. So I have to cook them as a rule. Well, the nice thing about this dish is I'm just going to start mixing it. I'm going to let it cook up some more before the end of the show. And all you got to do is take a wooden spatula, and mix it up. Let it sit in the stove. You can let this sit in the stove for 3 or 4 hours. In fact, I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to actually have it on melt. There's a feature on our stove that says melt, so I may just put it there. Well, let's be clear. Well, I'm going to clean up my cans and do some prep work, because I don't, during the middle of the show, I come in here, and on Thursdays, the kitchen's a mess. So, okay. No, you were not muted. No, I did not mute you. Well, this would have been done if I'd been a propane burner, so I'm kind of modifying my cooking. Somebody convinced me I shouldn't be opening a propane tank in a kitchen, so I agreed with them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I'm going to turn the flame up just to get this thing rolling a little bit. I'll take it right back up to level 6. Yeah, I need to get the thing up to a kind of a simmer before I leave the show. All right, thank you. Well, thanks for watching me throw things in a pan and call it dinner. You can add turmeric and garlic. If you do add turmeric and garlic, you don't have to worry about food poisoning. Good point. Let's put some turmeric in there, especially for health purposes. Yeah. I've got some turmeric I picked up at the health food store. I've made my own label here, turmeric. Let's throw some in there. Yeah, definitely put celery in if you've got it. I didn't want to waste it. I can carry onions, they hold well, but you can't carry celery on a hobo trip. Onions and potatoes and sweet potatoes stay really well. Whereas celery gets a little bad quick in your backpack. But you can put onions, tight little Spanish onions in your backpack and cook on the road. Yeah. Fancy label. Let's just put a little of that on top of this. I'm going to go for like a quarter teaspoon. Quarter teaspoon. I'm going to push everything down. Kind of jab the dish. Yeah. Everything's going to kind of like sit there and come together. Now, if you need a little bit more stuff on top, and you can definitely move those burgers around and press into those burgers so they break up. Your meat should probably be steamed or cooked in advance, especially if you're cooking with roadkill.
Oh yeah, especially if you're cooking with roadkill.
Yeah, you probably should get your meat cooked in advance,
Oh my god, thanks.
Don't you agree? Well, I'm cooking with organic beef, huh? We got organic ground beef in here with some sweet potatoes and some new potatoes. And I'm really thick here. This is really thick. This is looking really good. In fact, it's looking so good, I can add some water to this. comfortably. So just let's add some water to this. Bring it up to almost the top. Give it about 1 inch of room. You want 1 inch of room at the top of your hobo pan. Make sure nothing is sticking. That's the important thing. So what you'll have here is kind of a slush. See that? Now the potatoes are not done. They're not even close to done. This does not call for pre-cooking. This calls for slow cooking. But everything's looking great. I'll tell you, this is going to be a good meal. But every one of the ingredients I brought with you tonight goes into this big meal. Every one of these I can carry in a backpack. I don't even need a refrigerator. So that's why I call it hobo stew. All right. Now, if you had celery, you'd need a refrigerator or an ice cooler or something. Okay, Sarah will have a little bit of this. It'll be a great stew for tonight. We're not eating a lot. It's summertime. We're trying to lose a little weight. It looks pretty good. Yeah, when it's done, it's going to be, I think, another hour on a low flame. All right.
Good job, David.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I'm going to put some stuff in the compost heap and get ready for the big show. The really big show. Ladies and gentlemen, from London, California. Love you. It'd be great if we could go back in time and experience some of those moments, wouldn't it? I think we probably will be able to travel back in time. They say that time travel is possible theoretically. So, if you have met a few people who appear to be time travelers in your life, and I've met a few, I'm not kidding either. I don't believe they were time travelers, but if you've met a few people that are time travelers, it's very possible that somebody has gone back in time from the future. And if that person was here and was born into a body of somebody, we wouldn't know that. How would we know it? They wouldn't even know that. Interesting thing to ponder. All right. Even time travelers may not know they're time travelers. I will see you in a bit. Get ready to refresh in about 1 or 2 minutes. Thanks for watching David's Kitchen and the Hobo Stew Show.